Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into another live stream here. You know what? When I bring this the sub count up, people tend to subscribe more. We need it. We did about 115, which I think we'll be able to reach it here within the next 30 minutes. People talking about the poly market. That's a normal correction that was expected. That was an expected correction with poly market. It's not a big deal. We've seen some close polls. It is what it is. But the point is, Trump is still up in Pennsylvania. That's the most important state. Thoughts on the Trump garbage truck? Well, Trump is definitely going for broke. I mean, his strategist, his campaign, very, very smart, obviously. It's very good optics to do that. You know, you wouldn't think Trump would do something like that, at least the way the left kind of smears him as this, oh, I'm better than you. Like he would actually dress up. But then they'll swing it and say, oh, he's just power hungry and he wants to do it like that. Did you see Trump's? Yeah, I saw the rally with the vest and everything. Two and yeah, it's getting very close. We are getting a bad Atlas North Carolina poll. I thought Atlas was done releasing polls. Atlas Intel just released a North Carolina poll like a day ago. Why would they release another one? Your account got banned, but you have another one from me. But the thing that I wanted to go over today was 538, and we've got their subreddit right here. I'll go through their subreddit a little bit, but I was looking over their just general prediction, and if you only looked at 538, you would believe that this is a standard toss-up where Kamala is going to win the popular vote by like 2.5 points, but then it's like 50-50, and it depends on Pennsylvania. That's what these polls and on 538 are saying. Now they actually still do have Trump as the favorite, even with a few shaky polls for Trump recently, according to them. And you'll see, like when you look at the popular vote, all the polls that they have in terms of their popular vote, this is just national polls. They're all Harris polls. They're all Harris polls, all of them, except Atlas Intel. That's the only one, which is a lot different in terms of the just regular aggregate. You can see all of the polls that are included. There's like 4 or 5 Trump polls, 4 or 5 Harris polls. With 538, the only ones they seem to include, and whether it's by coincidence or what, they're just all Harris polls outside of Atlas Intel, and so that would skew it to where Harris leads the national popular vote by like 2.5, according to 538. So it's interesting to look through. I mean, Reuters getting a high grade like that. I don't know. I mean, some of these pollsters that they even include into this is just it's very strange. 538 too biased. Well, I mean, biased in terms of just the pollsters that they use. I think like these are literally all the Harris polls, and maybe it's a coincidence, but it's just like my goodness. Yeah, I saw the Trump garbage truck. Chuck, I appreciate it. Should I throw $100 on Harris to win Pennsylvania? I mean, it's not good odds. It's 50-50 basically right now. Is it's like, but I mean, even like looking at this thing, what is the state probabilities? What do they have Pennsylvania right now? They've got Trump 52% chance to win Pennsylvania. They have Harris a slight favorite in Michigan and Wisconsin. They do have Trump 63% chance to win Georgia. I think it's higher than that. Arizona 64. I think it's higher than that as well. North Carolina 59. So basically, if you look at 538, they say it comes down to Pennsylvania and really just the Rust Belt in general. That's why New Hampshire might be very interesting. You need to predict a New Hampshire flip. I think I need to see more polling out of New Hampshire, honestly, before I predicted that. New Hampshire 80. They still have it 80-20, unless maybe it's updated. Yeah, they still got it 80-20. I mean, it's come down a little bit. There's been some good polls in New Hampshire. We'll see. You remember the 538 predictions for the 2016 and 2020? Well, I mean, to be fair, that's basically every pollster. Real Clear Politics was horribly wrong in 2016 and 2020. But again, Real Clear Politics is just that it's just it's fueled by polls. It's not an actual poll. It's just it aggregates a bunch of polls. So it's not like Real Clear Politics. Their job is to find the best polls and put them in an aggregate. And if and I mean, if every poll is wrong, there's nothing you can really do, which is what happened in 2016 and 2020. Why is Trump dropping on Polymarket? It's just a normal correction, I would say. It's a normal correction, and there maybe are a few polls that I mean, honestly, I don't even know. I thought that it was a good Rasmussen poll. Maybe there are a few polls that have come out that, if we take a look at this, I think there's been a few very positive Michigan polls for Harris. I mean, these are good Pennsylvania polls, man. If you win Pennsylvania, the election's over. A Wisconsin Marquette Harris +1. That's not the worst things. This is the big this is the big hitter. Wisconsin CNN Harris +6. Thoughts on the new CNN swing state polls? I'm looking at them right now. Pennsylvania tie. See, the data just doesn't make any sense. How is Pennsylvania a tie, but Wisconsin is Harris +6? It's not. There's no way Wisconsin votes to the left of Pennsylvania by 6 points. It's just ridiculous. CNN has Michigan Harris +5. So that's, to me, that's part of the reason why we're seeing the big, or I don't know, the 2 point drop for Trump on Polymarket. Which again, I mean, this is what's going to happen. People react to polls and they put money, so it's understandable. And maybe they see value in Harris. Um, but you're looking at Pennsylvania right now with CNN and Wisconsin. Certainly not great polls for Trump. Although I mean, to me, those are outliers. There's just no chance Trump loses either of those states by 6 and 5 points. If anything, it'd be a real close loss. I'm a little nervous. IDK man, the margins are slim and they're capable of doing some shady things. Well, there's a lot of shit going around right now. It's hard to know what to cover when it comes to all this election stuff. I mean, there was a big, I don't know if I'd call it a big Republican win, but there was a Republican win where they were able to extend the early voting, the in-person early voting, I think in Pennsylvania, Bucks County. Pennsylvania apparently is just a cesspool, man, in terms of just what people are doing. There's videos of liberals going around taking getting rid of Trump signs, putting them in their car. They got like 30 Trump signs in their car, like these old ladies going around, people posing as polling officials with like lanyards and everything in Pennsylvania. It's a real mess. And Pennsylvania is like ground zero of this election. Thanks for the dedication. I appreciate that, Viking. I appreciate it. Michigan and PA. I've heard some bad stuff about Michigan as well. I haven't heard much out of Wisconsin. I've heard some bad stuff out of Michigan. But again, it's like, do I cover this? It's like the kiss of death almost for your channel. ABC showed Harris winning Pennsylvania by 5 in a racing. Yeah, I saw that. That to me, dude. Well, that wasn't ABC. That was a local affiliate. And listen, people are gonna say, "Well, was it a test or not?" I do think it was a test. I think it was a test. I mean, but it is pretty. I don't want to say it's funny, but basically they had like it was like a mock election at the bottom of the screen, and it had Harris winning by 5 points, and then it had on top of that. I don't know if you saw the other thing. It had McCormick losing by like 9 or some shit, by like by like 8 or 9. But I think it was honestly a troll. It was just like they're testing it. I don't know. I can't believe that there would be something like that. Someone tell me if we are doing better or worse than last week. Trump. I think Trump's in a similar spot as last week. I don't really see the polls changing much. I mean, those are objectively not great polls in Wisconsin and Michigan, but that is CNN, and those are pretty big outliers, to be fair. I mean, even Marquette, you'll take a +1, +0.2, even with a +6. Yeah, that's with a +6. She's only up by +0.2 in the aggregate. And Trump doesn't have any crazy outliers either. I mean, they're very close states. Let me see. You despise Reddit? Dude, this thing just counts really weird, honestly. It randomly goes up by like 5. Is the race really that close? I travel a lot all over the country and see 5 MAGA warriors. Yeah, no, it's you can't really you know, there's always going to be in public there's a lot more Trump support. There's no doubt about it. But that's just that's a very small minute percentage of the populace that votes. But I understand, you know, a lot of people see more Trump supporters. Make America great again. Well, as a garbage man, maybe. No, you're not supposed to unsub yet. You got to get me to like 900. You got to get me like 10 away. Early vote looks great. Yeah, I mean, I would say with the early vote, just it's hard to really take the early vote. I mean, the early vote looks good for Trump, I guess, but I'm not going to put a ton of stock into it. You got to show up on the day of early voting. He's lost a few in Polymarket. Yeah, I know. I think that's a correction because of the CNN polls. That's my guess, Julian. I think it's because of the CNN polls. What has he lost today? 2.5. Yeah. Senate. I think the Senate lost one, but the Senate still. With the Senate, dude, I mean, you'd love to get 54 or 55 in the Senate. I don't think it's going to happen, but I mean, no, it's possible. It's possible if you take a Rust Belt seat. Oh, man. Oh, man, it went up a lot. Yeah, people, listen. Just get me there. This is where people are going to start unsubbing. He remains 60-40. It's hard to say. I mean, listen, if we're 60-40 going into election night, that's fine. We just need Trump with a lead going into election night. I mean, you're seeing the Rust Belt states tighten. I mean, they've always been tight, but I want him to get to 69%. Yeah, that's the joke that Elon's been making. That's the joke that Elon's been making. There it is. No, it's not. There it is. 10 away. Oh, and there it is. Is it going to go back down? No, people. I mean, that was actually quicker than I thought. Oh. Yep. Just as I suspected. It's typical with it's typical. It Oh, it's going back up. It's like we just gotta watch it. We just gotta keep watching it. And I think they gave up. Yeah, they gave up. They did a little troll on me and then they gave up. And now it's going up a lot. All right, guys, I appreciate it. Listen. You can stop with the unsubs. Oh my god. You got to be fucking kidding me. You're joking me. Dude, I was at 27. Oh, no. No, I think they're done. They got to be done. They're done. They're done, yeah. There's not enough of the trolls to bring me back under. There's not enough. It's the will of the people pushing me over. The will of the people are pushing me over. They voted. Oh my god. We're not gonna do this anymore. Dude, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not doing this. Listen, I'm gonna come back to it. It's gonna be over when I go back to it. This is enough of that. This is enough of that. All right. How do we stop the cheating? Well, they're calling it out now. They're being a lot more proactive. They're doing a good job calling it out. You can tell Republicans are a lot more ready for it. There was no dialogue about cheating at all before the election. It just happened after in 2020. Now all the dialogue is here, and yeah, that was some moment there. They cooked me there. It's really not a big deal about no, I agree. I'm trying to tell people it's a normal correction. This is what happens. It's fine. This is why poly market. I mean, listen, if there's positive Harris polls, she's going to get, Trump's going to go down a little bit. That's just the betting market. That's, if there's positive CNN polls, like, let's actually analyze this for a second. I mean, this is nothing to me. Point two with how Wisconsin way underestimated Trump the last two cycles. That's nothing to me. Arizona's basically a lock at this point, let's be honest. Nevada's 50-50. I mean, I'd say like 55% chance Trump wins. I already looked at Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, or Michigan. Harris, 0.4. Yeah, so I mean, most of these polls, Trump is leading. It's just the big margins. Harris is up by 3, 4. And these are I mean, Quinnipiac, I think, is going to release another poll, and it's going to be a lot better for Trump than a +4 if they release a final poll. Bloomberg's always been liberal. But I mean, these numbers are so close. Pennsylvania obviously is the key. And this is the one where we really haven't seen any crazy movement from any of those pollsters. Like Bloomberg has a +2 Harris. Quinnipiac has a +2 Trump. And that was just updated. So I think, obviously Pennsylvania's huge. You would love to look at a New Hampshire as well. And I can show everyone this. Well, this is the standard 312, but if you just change everything, well, you change those three. See that Trump's at 268 now. And then this would be Harris taking these, all of these by whatever, 0.1%, and Harris gets her 270. But if Trump takes a New Hampshire, Trump wins. And I'm not saying, this is like worst case scenario, but Trump wins there. You take a Virginia, Trump wins, even if you lose New Hampshire. That's why Trump is trying to go to some of these other states, I think. But I mean, obviously Pennsylvania is the most important. It really doesn't matter. Virginia doesn't matter if you win Pennsylvania. I mean, it probably doesn't matter anyways, but ideally you just get Pennsylvania, the election's over. But it does seem like for sure there is a little bit of a divide between Pennsylvania and Michigan and Wisconsin. It's mainly because of the CNN poll that came out. But again, it's like, what did they have it tied in Pennsylvania, and then Harris +5 and +6 in Michigan and Wisconsin? You see what just happened with Biden on X. Just now, then no, I haven't. I don't know what you're referencing, if it was happened just now, because I haven't really looked at X since I started the stream. But if something did happen, I'll take a look at it. Rogan talks about Kamala Harris on the podcast. Unbelievable. Kamala Harris can't even go on Rogan. It's an easy like 10 million views for her. I mean, she's not going to get as many views as Trump, but it'd be a lot. Vote for the man that dodges assassins for his country, not the woman who dodges questions for her country. Well said. Yes, well said. But you're talking about dodging questions. Rogan even said, he's like, I'm serving this interview up on a silver platter. We don't even have to talk politics. He's just like, I just want to interview her and get her to know who she is. It's a fluff piece for Harris, and it's a 10 million view fluff piece, and she won't do it. Like, it wasn't even going to be a hard interview. Because they were like, well, Rogan gave Trump a softball interview. Yeah, he's really not trying to interview them and do gotcha moments on either of them. Was the JD Vance podcast today? I don't know. It might have been today, and then they'll upload it tomorrow. No. Well, maybe it was today. I don't know. It's either today or tomorrow, I'm guessing. And they're going to get it up ASAP, I would imagine. It's probably going to go up tomorrow. That's my guess either way. Whether it's recorded. JD filmed today. Oh, wow. So they will upload it tomorrow then. Yeah, they had those trigonometry guys on, because I saw a clip of Rogan talking about it with them. 41 million views on the Trump Rogan podcast. I know. How do you botch that if you're Harris? It's just crazy. Is Gallup coming out with another poll? I would imagine yes. They're going to probably come out with their final poll and give a final declaration on that party ID. And they also poll other things as well. Not necessarily. I don't think they do swing states. Well, maybe they do, but they do like other questions that not many pollsters ask, like abstract type questions about the country and just the typical who do you trust on certain issues. I think it'll be very revealing. And also like what's the number one issue in the country? That'll be very interesting. We would hope it's immigration we want to be number one, inflation we want to be number one, because they view inflation as Biden's doing in a negative for Biden. Economy, we want to be number one. We don't want abortion to be number one, that's for sure. Oh, I had the top chat up, not live messages. That's my bad. But I don't know if it matters. Maybe I should go back to top chat just because it's hard for me to get to all of them. Minnesota is in play. It's hard to say. I mean, I thought there was if I remember correctly, a pretty bad poll that came out of Minnesota that kind of dampened it. I think it was a Survey USA poll that had Harris up 8. I mean, I think it's possible because there was a poll that had Harris up by 2 in Minnesota. I don't know if Trump's going to Minnesota or not. Charlie Kirk out there dooming about the women vote. What are you seeing in the data? No, I mean, women are going to vote Democrat. There's no doubt about it. The question is, can men? I mean, women are like, okay, so this is the whole dynamic. And I see a lot of women now blaming men and stuff for not going to the polls. When you look at voter participation, there's a clear correlation. If you go to college, there's going to be more participation. And this is an exaggeration, but I'm just saying, literally every like high school girl goes to college. I'm just telling you, when it comes to the guys, it's a little bit different. They go to trade school, stuff like that. If you go to college, you've got a much higher percent chance of voting in federal elections. That's what the numbers say. So women outnumber men because they go to college more often, and it is an issue. But we need men to go to Trump significantly to make up the difference, and also hopefully get men to the polls. But yeah, women are gonna. I mean, if he was saying women are voting for Harris, I mean, that's just what's gonna happen. But the question is by how much. Maybe if you get it under 10, it could be better. But it's like it's like women for Harris by 10, men for Trump by 10 as well by 10. That it's like a clear split. Biden pick on X with his mouth on a baby leg. Oh my god, dude. What in the hell? Kamala up 5. Yeah, so this is the US betting market, I guess, that I don't really look at this one. I mean, I guess I could look at this one. This one has had better odds for Harris uh than Poly market. But I mean, even this one, it's still Trump at 60. I mean, you'll take that even though Trump's down. ABC mistakenly airs election results declaring Harris winner, and this was in Pennsylvania. Yeah, but I think it was an affiliate. There it is right there, 5247. They said it was a test. It's like a local TV affiliate, like news network affiliate, whatever. How's the Jewish vote? Trump's not winning the Jewish vote. He'll lose that by a lot. JD Vance, we actually recorded an episode of Joe Rogan this morning. How long were you in Rogan's studio? Almost 4 hours. Wow. So maybe it's a three and a half, 4 hour conversation with JD Vance. That's what you want to see. I mean, Vance is a very good talker. I knew it would be over 3 hours at least, but three and a half, maybe 4 hours with Vance there, and that'll be uploaded probably tomorrow at around 1 o'clock Eastern. That would be my guess. That's normally when Trump uploads those. College degree doesn't mean smarter. No, but I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's correlated to higher. They vote more if you go to college. That's what it is. So that's why a lot of girls vote. I think women's vote will only be Harris plus 5. You'd be surprised. Yeah, I mean, that would surprise me. I think it'll be a bit more than that. But I've seen polls where it is only plus 5. It just depends the poll. JD Vance balances Trump out. Yeah, I agree. Vance is really very, very impressive. And he's definitely he can like massage the more rigid Trump talking points, if that makes sense. You're gonna continue the political vids. Yeah, I mean, dude, I've kind of boxed myself in here. I don't know if I mean, I'll definitely continue the political vids. I'll have to think about what I'm gonna do with the future of it, honestly. But I mean, dude, I could do the political vids and just have and easily have a living doing the political vids just because there's always news and shit like that. But it's like, you're gonna burn yourself out. You keep doing this. So I don't know what I'll do. DG 2028. Wow. I don't think I'll be eligible, man. I don't think I'll be eligible in 2028. I think we gotta wait a while there, man. Polling in Pennsylvania looks solid for Trump. I know. And that's not even a cope. That is true. Polling in Pennsylvania looks very good. Even when you get CNN coming out and dropping a +6 and a +5 in some of those in Wisconsin and Michigan, um, it still does look very good. He was in Green Bay with Brett Favre. There he is right there. What time are you streaming Tuesday? Probably 6 o'clock. No, I'll probably do a morning stream at a morning stream, and then I'll do probably go for my main stream at 6 o'clock. You don't want to burn yourself out and go live too early, but I'll probably do one final update video early in the afternoon because the betting is going to be changing rapidly, I'm sure, and that's really what I'll be looking at. I mean, the exit polls come in, I think, at around 6 is when the exit polls come in. And those will obviously be just, that's going to be big to see the issues. But the exit polls are the exit polls. I mean, people just overreact to those in like that short window between the exit poll results coming in and then us getting actual results. And then the exit polls are meaningless. But I mean, we'll look back on them after the election, of course. And that's when we'll know like the most important topics. I think abortion will be number 4, honestly, maybe 3, probably 4. But I mean, that doesn't 1000% mean that it's not going to swing the election, because if the right people in the swing states care about it the most, then it will. The garbage vest. I mean, yeah, dude, they're really on top of their game with this. I saw a tweet this morning, or was it yesterday? I think it was this morning. They were like, Trump better, if Trump's goes out as a garbage man or wears the garbage vest, he's getting 538 electoral votes. Obviously, it was just a funny tweet. It was an exaggeration. But I was like, wow, that'd actually be crazy if he did it. And then 2 hours later, like legit 2 hours later, or it was like early afternoon, he comes out. Do the early voting? No, if anything, the early voting is encouraging in Pennsylvania because they built up a massive firewall in 2020. They don't have it anymore, so it's encouraging. But we're not going to sit here and say, oh, Republicans have won Pennsylvania because of the early voting. I think, listen, it's day of. We got to see who turns out day of. That's important. But the polling looks good. The early vote looks decent enough in Pennsylvania to where Trump should win it. Yes. Still bullish on Trump? Yeah. No, definitely. Listen, you're going to get corrections. It's all right. You're going to get corrections. Why are the poly market odds dropping? A quick answer would be 2 CNN polls in Wisconsin and Michigan, both having Harris up by 5 and 6. That would be my quick answer on that. There could have maybe a few other polls, but I mean, there's, we got the Good Atlas Intel poll. I would imagine that's mainly what it is. Like, I think she probably leads right now in terms of the betting in Michigan. Yeah, she does, 52-48. And see, so she's made up ground in Wisconsin. Yeah, it's that CNN drop. Because Pennsylvania really hasn't moved. Pennsylvania's still at 61. But I mean, this is part of the ebbs and flows. And this is healthy. This is what's, this is what can happen sometimes. Would you ever live in a blue state? Well, a lot of times when it comes to states, some of them, like California, it's a mess because the taxes are horrible, no matter where you're at, because of the state income. But a lot of times it's more city versus rural type versus suburb. I mean, it's not necessarily liberal, because you could live in New York City and that's a totally different experience than, living far to the west of New York City, somewhere in a rural area in New York. So it really just depends. But I would prefer to guard against living in a liberal state, just because it's not my preference in terms of the states. I mean, I think Colorado is a beautiful state, but I wouldn't live in Colorado with the altitude and stuff. More so like Midwestern, like Midwest, like South Dakota, Nebraska area, Iowa area, somewhere there. You're from upstate New York. Yeah, I mean, I used to go skiing in New York, Holiday Valley. It's probably the best one of the best ski resorts on the eastern side of the U.S. Binging on politics over and over again, following it, it's super unhealthy. You want to balance. Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. I've been running simulations, and it seems Pennsylvania is going to be the bellwether this election. Oh yeah, around 91%. That every model agrees with you. I think any analytical any prediction model will agree that Pennsylvania will decide it. So as long as we keep getting good polls in Pennsylvania, I mean, I would still even because of Pennsylvania still feel confident about Michigan and Wisconsin as well sweeping the Rust Belt because normally they all vote together. Now they are very close margins. I mean, it's not impossible for Trump to win Pennsylvania and then lose Michigan by point 0.1, but it is unlikely. Vance Rogan podcast tomorrow, probably at 1 o'clock, 3.5 hours. I think 1 o'clock Eastern time is when I think it's going to be released. Good for Trump or not? Yeah, it's still good. We're still looking good for Trump. Trump needs to win North Carolina. I agree. I mean, I think Trump will definitely win North Carolina. But no, you're right. He does need to win it. He needs to win. Well, I mean, there's different paths, but you would love to win every Sun Belt state. The comedian Tony Hinchcliffe, that doesn't matter anymore after, yeah, they had to shut up about that, man. Do you think New Hampshire is in play? It's hard to say. New Hampshire has so many independents, man. New Hampshire is a true wild card state, and it would be hilarious if Trump won New Hampshire, man. I'm not saying Trump would lock up the election if he won New Hampshire, but it would just make it so much easier. Imagine New Hampshire and Virginia. Trump should do trash service for a day. I would imagine that was probably the only day he was going to do that thing. I highly doubt he'll keep wearing it tomorrow. Chances Trump wins Virginia, I still think it's probably about 20, 25. I don't know, man. There's some numbers. I'd probably push it up to like 30, 35. I've seen some numbers on Twitter from people that are trustworthy that, I mean, they're saying Virginia's basically 50-50. Harris is polling about half the margin Biden did with independents in New Hampshire. Well, it doesn't surprise me based on where she's at in terms of the polls in New Hampshire. Let's see. I just want to look at it, see if they have any of the New Hampshire polls in. They got a Rasmussen +1. Yeah, that +5 came in as well. But I mean, you got an Emerson +3. That UMass Lowell poll should be removed. That was from, I don't know. That distorts it. Polls shouldn't be changing like this. It's bad data. No, I agree. There's no the CNN data is bad data. There's no way it should be +5 and +6. That's ridiculous. We can guarantee you that's not going to happen. She will not win those states by that margin. I can pretty much guarantee you she won't win those states by half of that margin. So it's like, it is what it is. But people are they're gonna see that and they're gonna put money on Harris, which is what it is. That's the betting mechanism. He needs Pennsylvania. If he doesn't win New Hampshire or Virginia, he doesn't need Pennsylvania. Yeah. Pennsylvania's the easiest path, no doubt, but he can win it with Wisconsin and Arizona. Well, I'm hoping he wins Arizona either way. But you're right, but it would be shocking at this point based on what we've seen. It wouldn't be shocking, but it'd be surprising if he loses Pennsylvania but wins Wisconsin. That'd be surprising. That's why people always talk about Pennsylvania because it's perceived as the furthest right-wing Rust Belt state. So if he wins Pennsylvania, or if he loses Pennsylvania, people think he'd lose the other two as well. Let's hit 300K. I think I would need, dude, to hit 300K. I think I would need someone to I need someone to shout out my stream for that to happen. But I don't even think I could do it then. It is very hard to gain subscribers on YouTube. It's not like, TikTok or something like that. It's very, you have to really work. When am I moving to Austin, Texas and all the hot girls? Well, listen, Austin, Texas the climate's a little bit too hot for me, honestly. I need all 4 seasons, man. I need the cold. I like being inside and with the cold and stuff. But I like hot weather from time to time. Thoughts on the local ABC station results graphic? Let me just, I'll approach it and I'll say I think it was just a test. That's just what I think. I legit think it was just a test. But everyone can have their own opinion. That's fine. But I just think it was a test. If you look at that, you'll see. I'm not going to go through it, but it seemed like a test to me. Did you hit 200K? Well, I did hit it a few times. You should have seen what happened. I mean, they nailed me. No, no. Oh, you're not going to be able to bring me down now. You're not going to, you know what? I got to stop taunting these people. I got to stop taunting these people because this is not, but yeah, I hit it. I got over 100. I got even over 100 to boot. But no, we're not gonna stay on that because those people will bring me down. Dude, I'll lose 200 right away, which is understandable. That's the troll. We get it. We understand. Thoughts on Trump flipping Minnesota? I view it as unlikely. I think it's unlikely at this point. But yeah, this 538 is total bullshit. I mean, but even 538 admits Trump is still the favorite. But I do wonder, did they factor in that CNN poll? Is there a way where I can go to? Can I go to this state and see if they factored in that CNN poll yet? Yeah, they did factor it in. So this is with the CNN drop, which is very positive for Harris. Supposedly, Trump is still up even with that CNN drop. According to 538, it's tightened, but Trump is still up. What will happen if the election is stolen? Well, it's a very complicated mess because liberals will never say the election was stolen, even if there's legitimate proof, and so it becomes a huge legal battle. And then it's up to Republicans to convince the general voter that there was cheating that happened and it was legitimate. I mean, and it's possible to sway even with the media being leftist. I mean, look at what happened to the Russian hoax and how Republicans were able to turn that after like 3 years. So it's possible if something really bad does happen, if you come with the evidence and it's there and they can't disprove it, um, they'll deny it and they'll say it doesn't happen. I mean, they hate Trump so much it doesn't really matter, even if they'll never admit to it. 312, 226. Yeah, that's just all the swing states. Absolutely no way she's up 5 points. I know it's crap, but it's going to affect the betting markets, unfortunately. But it's a crap poll. But even that crap poll has Trump, I think, tied in Pennsylvania. That CNN drop that they had. But I would imagine that CNN. Those are CNN's last polls. Trump not attending Penn State, Ohio. Yeah, I saw that. That's interesting that he's not. I wonder if they viewed that as it would take too much time or something, and it would be better off to go to rallies because that's something that would take time to get in there, get into the stadium, stay for a little bit with all the security. There's so many people there. I do wonder if it was a strategic move. I'm guessing that's what it was. What do you think of the major Senate races? Maybe a little bit of a letdown, man. Republicans really should be getting 55, 56 seats. It's like, I mean, hopefully McCormick, I know Hovde's he's gone up. It seems like he's got a decent chance. He's not going to outperform Trump, but he's going to be right with Trump. So if Trump wins Wisconsin, he's got a decent chance. How much money do you have on the election? The election, I don't have any money on personally. But certainly we'll all be affected if Trump wins or loses. I'll be affected financially if Trump wins or loses for sure. What is the most likely path to win if we lose Pennsylvania? Well, I mean, if you lose Pennsylvania, it depends what you think of the other Rust Belt states because the idea would be you still win the other Rust Belt states, but it gets hard. It would probably be a New Hampshire or Virginia. That would be my guess. But I mean, if you really wanted to analyze it, you lose Pennsylvania. Harris is at 270. Obviously, you take one of these states, you win automatically. You just need one. But the question is, would you get one if you lose Pennsylvania? That's the ultimate question. So if you don't get either of those, then you go for a New Hampshire, you win there. Let's say you don't get New Hampshire, you go for a Virginia, you win there. And I think that would probably be it. People say, well, maybe Minnesota, but that'd probably be it. So it's one of the Rust Belt states still, or a Minnesota, and obviously you have to sweep the Sun Belt. Opinions on Alan Lickman, PS MAGA from the UK. Well, I mean, I think he's a bias predictor at this point. He's got a vendetta against Trump. He says he doesn't like Trump. Why is Trump dropping hard? Sorry, I missed this. Oh, there's a few here I missed. What happened to last year's poll where Trump was up on? What does this mean? What has happened to last year's poll where Trump was up on Harris by 10 to 15? Last year's. What do you mean last year's poll? I mean, those were really early polls. Are you talking about when they would poll the hypothetical Trump versus Harris matchups? Those don't matter. The Bernie bros would argue that Bernie Sanders would beat Trump by 15 because of those hypothetical matchups. If that's what you're talking about, they don't matter. Why is Trump dropping so hard? Is this a crash? No, I wouldn't call 3 points a crash. It's because the CNN polls in the Rust Belt, I would imagine, because the Rust Belt is starting to swing in Wisconsin and Michigan to even. That's CNN polls with Harris up by 5 and 6. But Lickman is, I'm sick of talking about him. He's got a model. It's a subjective model. He's got a vendetta against Trump. That's really all I can say. The model is subjective. If you're not going to like a candidate, you're probably going to pick against that candidate with your model, and you're going to manipulate the model into fitting in your little criterias. Working for Turning Point and America First PAC here in Wisconsin. We're out every day through the elections, boots on the ground. Well, that's very good news, Ben. And listen, Wisconsin's obviously huge no matter what. The 14th key. Yeah, remember that shit? Someone bet 600K Trump no on Polymarket. You can also, it's also like an investment. So you could bet no, like let's say at 37 or bet no on Trump at, what would it be, 63 cents. And then you could sell it if Trump keeps going down and for profit. It's an interesting thing. Yeah, the Yankees just blew that lead. That's crazy. What a Garrett Cole. Wow. You see that more apartments in Colorado got taken over. I didn't see that. Venezuelan gangs again in Colorado. Not good. 538 reliable. They've got 538. They pick and choose which polls to take. I think 538 is worse than Real Clear. And I'm not this huge Real Clear fan either. Real Clear was terrible in 2020 and 2016 to Trump. And then they're like, well, Real Clear is conservative. They were off by, and again, they're just an aggregate. They just put polls together, but it's not like they're these crazy Trump people. They were off by so many points in 2016 and 2020 in terms of underestimating Trump. Boy, it would be nice to get New Hampshire. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I think Trump will do a rally in New Hampshire. That's my guess. Oh, it was 3 errors? Jesus, man. Is Trump really winning, though? I hope, but I don't know which polls are accurate. No, Trump is winning in the overall aggregate. He's definitely winning right now. What are those models? They're Legos. They are Legos, brother. Lots of trolls. Are there? I haven't even. It's hard for me to see. What's with Virginia? There's a chance in Virginia, man. There's actually a really good. I gotta find that. I wanted to find that. Rasmussen final poll. Trump +2. That's a good poll. You'll take that poll. This was the one that was added. New Hampshire +5. Latest final polls. This is good. Pennsylvania. Trump +3, Trump +2, Trump +1, +1, +1, +1, tie. You'll take that in Pennsylvania for sure. Those are good numbers. Did you ever get the second Twin Tower Legos? Yeah, I did. I got it. They're actually right there. I had them behind me, and it was like the weird glare of them. I didn't like how it reflected in the webcam. I got a new webcam and I just didn't like the reflection of it. Have you heard anything from people with access to the internals? I've seen some rumblings on the internet, both sides, about mysterious internals. Yeah, I mean they have internals. Most of the time, if internals get leaked, it's for a reason. So I don't think you're going to hear much. I've heard a few things. I mean, I haven't heard anything from like freaking people DMing me or anything like that. The only things I've heard is just on my timeline. I've heard of a few different internals, but it's nothing like crazy. It's not like, oh, the internals think Harris is up by X amount. It's really nothing different than the public stuff that I've seen. Why is Harris on Polymarket taking the lead again? Because of a Michigan CNN poll. I think plus five or plus. I think plus five. No, Texas is not going to turn. Texas is not going to turn blue. There's no way. Is the early vote count in Pennsylvania concerning now? Can you watch the Biden clip? I donated for it. Which Biden clip are you talking about? When he kissed a baby or something? Oh, this is the Pennsylvania early vote shift. 15% Republican. I mean, it's good. Definitely worried she's going to end up winning. Yeah, I don't think she's going to win, man. Oh, is this it right here? Oh, dude, what in the hell? Did that just come out? He bit the baby's foot twice. Dude, what the? Is that a new clip? How can that poll be plus five? It's crap. Juan, what's up? What's up, man? Could I be a mod, you're asking? Also, did you hear that the Chicago Fire of MLS, the owner said he is willing to build and fund their own stadium privately? A blow to the Bears asking for $4 billion. I didn't hear about that. But when it comes to you being a mod, uh, when it comes to you being a mod, we do have a lot of mods right now. There's a waiting list, so I could add you to it, but there is a waiting list. But I mean, this is just disgusting. Yeah, everyone's talking about it. I mean, it's every day with him, man. It's every day. What is up with the ABC graphic? I think it's just they were just testing it. I do think they were just testing it, man. I know Republicans are very skittish about that. It's weird, but 13 days. No, what the elections? I think 6 days. Atlas Intel New York +7 bullshit. There's no way Atlas came out with a poll like that. Opinion on doomers on X who don't shut up about how the election will be rigged. It makes me angry. Well, I mean, it's just like, what do you want people? I don't understand what they want us to do about that. I really don't. Like, there's nothing I can do about it, honestly. If stuff like that. So, I mean, I think it's bad. I don't really see a ton of that though. It depends what timeline you're looking at. I'm sure it's there though. Yeah, I mean, I've heard some. I ignore most of it where they're like, "Oh, it's going to be rigged anyways." and stuff like that. Well, I mean, listen, how did he win in 2016? And he won by very slim margins, by the way. It wasn't, he lost the popular vote. You'd think they would rig it against him in 2016, too. Shout out from Shepherd Air Force Base. Keep it up. I appreciate that, Dirt Star. I appreciate that. Oh my God. JD Vance Rogan is 3 hours, 52 minutes. That's a troll. I mean, you do troll about the weirdest things. It's just a strange things you troll about, man. I appreciate it. I do. PA early voting update. It's impossible for Dems to reach their 500K mail in firewall. If outstanding mail-ins are returned, Dems would only reach 496K. Well, they had a 1.1 million firewall. It's down now. Yeah, they're really struggling in Pennsylvania with the early vote when you compare it to 2020. We knew that would happen, but it's really is next level at this point, honestly. If we get massive gains in Congress, 55 senators, and Trump, what law would you want to see passed? National constitutional carry, no tax on tips. I want to be. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot, man. But it's just the way that it's structured right now with the United States. It's hard to get things done, even with 55. Um, but there needs to be a massive immigration reform, and I would love actually a redrawn border with Mexico, but that's not going to happen. But it like in a general sense, just massive immigration reform. You know, the no tax on tips. I think that's stuff that can be accomplished with 52 or 53 seats. $1 billion bogus indictments, Russian hoax, two failed assassin attempts, mainstream media propaganda machine against him, and Trump is still standing with millions of irredeemable garbage, deplorable patriots. Well said, Turnt. I appreciate that's nice. H says gays for Trump. I appreciate that. Although to be clear, I'm not gay. But there's nothing against gay people, but I'm not gay. Harris just came out and with no tax on tits. Well, she did also say the exact same policy that Trump said. It's amazing. It is crazy. In 2016, Hillary was only up by 1.7. It seemed like, well, it was the swing states, it was a lot more, but the popular vote, it was very close. Should we take out Trudeau? I think Trudeau is probably going to, he's got to lose majority in 2025. They're having their election in October 2025. Canada is. And the Canadians, they're going to go with the conservative group. The conservative group's got like 40% of the share right now in terms of the polls. And then there's two liberal main groups. That's how they do it with Canada and also in Europe. They've got like these two, one of them's socialist, one of them's like establishment liberal. They've got like the new age liberals and establishment, and they split the votes. And so Trudeau is going to lose majority. Why is Charlie Kirk freaking out on X? I don't know. I think someone, listen, he must really be freaking out because someone else mentioned that to me. I don't know. He's freaking out about women voting. You think she wins the popular vote, but not the electoral? Or you think she loses both? Right. Well, I think she probably loses both, honestly, but it's going to be close. The popular vote's going to be very close. There's just a swing in general in the country. What's the blue firewall? It's just by how much Democrats are leading going into election day. So how much, you know, so right now, I think they're up by like 380K in terms of, and their firewall, obviously, there's going to be more Democrats doing the mail in, especially in Pennsylvania and some of these other states. So it's their overall advantage versus conservatives and how much conservatives have to make up. In 2020, it was a 1.1 million advantage. So conservatives on election day, they had to make up 1.1 million votes, and they nearly did. But now their firewall has been stripped down to about 380K because of more conservatives doing early voting and also less liberals doing early voting as well. A DG aggregate poll. It's really hard to find a, you like an unbiased. I mean, I guess Real Clear is fine, but some of the polls that they add, it's tough, but it's understandable. What do you think about Trump and the garbage truck? I mean, it was very good job by his campaign managers to get on that ASAP and take advantage of that. What Biden said. He's hanging on by a thread. There was news that the conservatives. Yeah, I'm gonna have to follow that Canadian election, bro. Are you from Canada? Was CNN plus five popular vote? No, it was for two swing states. It was plus five. I think plus five Michigan, plus six Wisconsin. That's why the swing states turned. CNN did. They released their final popular vote poll a few days ago. They have it as a tie. It was just Wisconsin, Michigan. That's why those states are turning and they're changing it. You can say plus six in Wisconsin, plus five in Michigan. Pennsylvania, I think they had it as a tie. Is that correct? Yeah, they had it as a tie. And I think that's going to be their final poll. I'm guessing. Ugh. What stream channel am I going to watch on election day? Well, normally I would watch probably a bunch of different shit, but if I'm going to be streaming, it's going to be different. So I don't know. I'm going to try and have at least, I don't know if I'll be allowed to, but I'm definitely going to have a bunch of the map. I'm going to have the map up. I'm going to have live betting up. I'm going to have the New York Times ticker up. I want to see all that stuff updated, basically. And then I'm going to be watching probably off screen CNN, I would imagine. And because I don't want to switch, it's hard to switch when you're doing this. Could you make a poll asking who's voted? You mean in this chat? If one of my mods wants to do that, I don't know if they can. Maybe I can. Here, I'll make a poll for you, man. Who's voted? How long should I leave the poll on for? Who's voted already? We'll do that. What the hell just happened to my live chat? Oh, it just updated. Oh, I can end the poll. Going on election day. I know there's a lot of conservatives going on election day. It's understandable. There's a big push to get out for early voting, but I know there's a lot of conservatives that'll just go on election day. Waiting for the last day. Yeah, waiting for election day. How close do you think New York will be? I don't know. I've been thinking it's like 12 and a half, but I don't know. Maybe it'll be 13 or 14. But it's going to be significant. I mean, there's a lot of conservatives that there was someone that was trolling me about a poll in New York. I'll look at the latest polls, but I don't think it's real. Ooh. Is there a Texas poll? Eh, man, there's a lot of shit that gets on here. I think I've seen pretty much all these polls, honestly. Can comment but not see video. Well, I think everyone else can see me. Are you gonna watch the meltdown on MSNBC? I mean, yeah, I'll go to that for sure. I'll have to go to that. I don't like watching MSNBC just for their coverage specifically. It's more so the meltdown, I guess. I don't really like their graphics package. It's a nerd thing to say, I know, but CNN's got a good graphics package. What if they don't? What if they do not certify? They'll look like clowns, complete hypocrites. They're going to certify it if they lose the liberals. Will Trump take Wisconsin? Yes, I think he will. Trump is going to win 350 electoral votes. I mean, it's 350, I don't know if that's possible. I mean, that's Virginia, Minnesota, New Hampshire. You're talking about, I think, New Mexico at least. PA voter here worried about silent Harris supporters. Yeah, it is interesting how the script has been flipped because Trump supporters are a lot more vocal now. It's like they bullied Trump supporters in 2020 and 2016 to being quiet, but now they're a lot more vocal. You know what? I think the dynamic has changed because of the assassination attempts. People are a lot more galvanized for Trump. But listen, I think with Pennsylvania, man, I just cannot see him losing that state. Not after everything that's happened. You don't want to make it like, oh, it's you know, not that it's written, but it's like the assassination attempt happens there. He goes back there. All the polls are good. All right, we'll go ahead and end this. Why is Trump going to New Mexico? I guess his internals say that he's got a chance in New Mexico. I guess I don't know. I mean, I think probably it's not a great trip to New Mexico. It's a long, but we'll see. What is Charlie Kirk freaking out about? I think I would the women voting for Harris. I guess I don't know. People have been talking to me about Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk must be having a temper tantrum right now. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. Sean, what's up, man? Yeah, I saw the Michigan poll. I've seen all the Michigan polls. That's why Michigan is the betting is turning in Michigan. Is there anything that makes you nervous about the election? I'm really not too nervous about the election, man. I mean, listen, if Pennsylvania started to shift a bit, that would be a state, that's cause for concern if Pennsylvania shifts. So yeah, you know what? That'd actually be the answer. It would be Pennsylvania shifting. But even, the polls, it's not like, oh my God, there's a +4 Harris poll, Trump's done. It's hard to, you have to factor everything in. I feel really good about the Sun Belt. I'm sweating the Rust Belt. Yeah, that's how it's shaping up. It's exactly how it's shaping up. And it's crazy how the Sun Belt has turned so much here within like the past 2 weeks. I mean, we already knew Arizona, but now it's Georgia, North Carolina, but especially Georgia. And then even Nevada, what we saw with the early voting. Congrats on 200K. I appreciate it. Yeah, the 200K was a nice moment. You're saying that I'm gonna roast Harris's 8 years of Nah, she's not. Harris is not gonna be the president, bro. There's no way. You hope he wins Virginia. I think Virginia. There's a real chance he can win Virginia. Harris is still the favorite, but there's a chance. There's a real shot in Virginia. The bigger the streams, the more troll bots. Yeah, I mean, actually, dude, I haven't seen many trolls. There were some Kamala trolls that attacked my stream. They were just bots that just kept spamming Project 2025, and they were spamming something else. I think just Kamala 2024, and then you'll ban them, and then it'll just be a different bot that spams the same stuff. But I think the way I have it set up, they really can't spam anything because it's one. You can only say one thing every 30 seconds. I think I still have that on there. I had to put that on there because I was getting inundated with trolls, real bad trolls that were saying racist shit. And so I had to put something on to make it like, all right, you got to be subscribed for like a while, but then I changed it back to 10 minutes. They were saying 1-6 was worse than 9/11. Yeah, well, that's the way they'll say that is because 1-6 is like, oh, 9/11 was just an attack. 1-6 was, an attack on the Constitution. And so that's why it's worse. They admit 9/11, it was, worse in terms of human life lost, but they're just gaslighting. There's no reason to placate to them and even entertain that. Will Vance run in 2020? It depends if Trump wins or not. I mean, I actually I'd imagine he'd run either way, but he'd have a lot better chance if Trump wins in 2024. Thoughts on the election being called before midnight? I would be shocked. That's real early. I mean, it would be surprising if it was called before midnight. Could you imagine that? Whew. Waited an hour to vote. Did you vote in Tennessee? Early vote or in person early voting? Where's your 100K plaque? It's actually right there. It's right over there. What do you think the closest state will be? I think probably Nevada or Michigan, if I had to guess. Fearing this will end like the movie Moneyball. Wait, what do you refer? What do you mean? The Yankees Dodgers you're talking about? I mean, what you talking about the election relating it to Moneyball? If Dwayne the Rock Johnson runs in 2032, you're out. Yeah, he'll run as an independent in 2032. There's going to be some independent celebrity. These celebrities they're jealous of Trump. I mean, look at what he did. They think they can do it. Look at Mark Cuban running in 2028. CNN poll in Washington, an attempt to deter opposition. I think it's just bad data that happens. They can release, but really, it's like whatever. Like the thing is, they can release that poll and nobody even remembers it. It's like it's really meaningless in the grand scheme of things when you've got just one poll like that. That's a +5. Now, if you get 3 or 4 polls that are +3, +4, +5, and there actually have been a few in Michigan that are like that, to be fair. But then there's also like 5 or 6 polls that have Trump up by one. So it's like, I mean, it's a very close state. What do you think of Pennsylvania voting heavy Democrats now? What do you mean the early voting? I mean, that was expected. The early voting is good for conservatives in Pennsylvania right now. What makes you so confident of the red polls? Well, there's a consensus in the red polls in those states. That's completely different. When you look at a Georgia or an Arizona and you compare it to like Harris's lead in the aggregate in Michigan or Wisconsin, it's totally different. I mean, in Michigan and Wisconsin, there's like Trump. There's like 4 polls that have Trump winning the state, and then there's a few ties, and then there's a few polls that have Harris up. With Arizona, it's every single poll. With Georgia, it's every single poll Trump is leading and leading by like 2 or 3 points. And it's not just that. We've also got the gold standard of polls for Georgia, the Atlanta Journal, who's only been off by a point in the last 2 election cycles. They've got Trump up by 4 points. Be very surprising if he lost Georgia. Very surprising. Why do you think the DJT stock is crashing? Well, I mean, didn't it go up? And that's what stocks do. They rise and fall. It'll boom if he wins. That's why it's just a gamble with that stock. It's tethered to Trump's election. The Sun Belt is not enough. Well, it's 268. I mean, it's you could technically take off a New Hampshire or a Virginia and win. What will I be posting after the election? I don't know, man. Maybe just maybe I probably a lot of like videos, more so following the politics side of it rather than the polls. But I don't really know, honestly. I mean, you get burnt out. It's like you just want the election to be here at some point. I mean, how many polls can we really go through it? It's a certain point, it's enough. But there's still like 5 days, 6 days left. Will they put up Vance or DeSantis? Probably Vance, I would imagine. What's Trump's path if she wins the Rust Belt? He'd have to win the Sun Belt and then pick off a New Hampshire or a Virginia. It would probably be the easiest. Would probably be New Hampshire, but I don't know. I mean, Virginia, it's close. Is Google blocking X? I don't know. Probably they're probably trying to censor it. Did you see Biden? Yeah, I looked at that. It's just weird. It's just another typical Biden moment. Do you think Trump could win New Hampshire? I mean, it's possible. It's below 50%, but it's possible. Kale, I appreciate it, man. Will the Amish make a difference? A very slight difference. It's way overstated, man. You know, you don't want to like rain on people's parade, but they're like, well, there's 90K. Well, no, it's in terms of eligible Amish voters, I think it's only like 15,000, something like that. Vance DeSantis 2028. I mean, I don't know if DeSantis would want to be a VP, but you know, it's possible. This feels like Christmas. Are you, what this election? It feels like Christmas. I don't get that vibe at all. Christmas, there's a pretty distinct vibe for Christmas, man. When it's the holidays and stuff and it's colder out. Muslims will help Trump win Michigan. Well, also Jill Stein will help as well. But I think RFK Jr.'s on the ballot. I don't know if that'll nullify Stein. It'll be interesting. What's horrifying is Walls is worse than Harris. How do you manage that? I know. I don't. Walls is such a clown. I don't know about that pick, man. It's a terrible pick. But I mean, everyone knows that. This is not Christmas. It's nerve wracking. Yeah, it's a little bit different than that. I mean, it's a little bit. It's a different vibe. There's no doubt about it. Why are some polls considered liberal? Well, if you put a pollster as like a more liberal pollster, you're really it's more of a track record thing. Whether it's this election cycle or the past, like Bloomberg, for example, they've been liberal throughout the entire cycle. Where I mean, I just think that they've been biased towards liberals, and it's when they're the outlier in every polling dump. It was the same thing with Biden, Trump, Biden, Harris. It's they're so much more liberal than every other pollster. You view them as an outlier, and you say, well, listen, you know, there's a very high probability they're not polling the correct sample, and they're polling too many liberal people when you compare them to other pollsters. Also, they could just oversample liberals. That's even an easier thing to look at or to tell. But OSU, Penn State, I'd say OSU probably. You know, Penn State never beats Ohio State. It's one of those things. X keeps crashing. Yeah, X does go through periods where it will crash for a few minutes. God forbid Trump loses. Do they hold the Senate, House? Probably not that well. Depends how bad he loses. The popular vote's going to be a lot closer no matter what, even if he loses. I would say the House would still be around 50-50, maybe like 45. Like if it depends how much Harris wins the popular vote by for the House. But the Senate, they would still, I would imagine they would still win, but it'd probably be like 51-52, probably 50. Well, because there's no way they're losing Texas in the Senate. It's just they're not losing Florida, and they're taking Montana guaranteed. And I mean, I think Ohio has got to be close. It's got to be close to guaranteed. I mean, it's not guaranteed, but it's close. Can the Yankees win in seven? I would be shocked if they won in seven. How'd they give up that lead, bro? That's crazy. They needed a stress-free game tonight. So Kerry Lake's chances in the Senate have tanked. Well, they've been down. They've been down significantly. I wouldn't say they've tanked. They've always been that low. Like it's just there's not a high probability. If Trump wins Arizona by like 5, I think she probably wins though. Chances they hold the House, I think it's 50-50 right now. A lot of it depends on election day turnout. A lot of with the House. Rasmussen just said that the internal polling is to the right of them, and Harris is only winning women by 3 in their latest Pennsylvania poll. Well, that's very good news if they're right on that. Obviously, that's great news. Winning women by 3 in Pennsylvania, that's a clear Trump victory if that happens. If Trump loses, we're screwed. If he wins, we're screwed. 4 more years of burning cities, protests, riots, media hyperventilating. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the times it seems like not a ton changes, but obviously we would much rather have Trump in because at least a few things will get better. Is Harris going on Rogan? I think it's pretty much done. It's not going to happen unless they really do a last second thing. You could see Walz going on Rogan. That's what liberals were saying. They were like, they were like Walz should go on Rogan and talk about hunting. Vance on Rogan. Yeah, that'll be a good podcast. That'll be real good for Trump. It would be very dope if you were to do your own polling. I don't think I want to do my own polling, honestly, man. Who are considered reliable pollsters? It's a loaded question because the polls have been so bad the last 2 cycles. I mean, liberals will tell you New York Times, but I mean, I would say there's a few different indicators that you could look at, like Gallup. Gallup's been really good with their party ID. Maybe Atlas Intel, although it's a short track record, they've been very accurate in the past 2 cycles. Rasmussen's had a few good cycles. What are the chances Trump loses the election? Well, I mean, you want me to give you a specific percent right now? It's hard. I mean, it's hard to say. I'd say like 75-25 right now. Did you see where that Pennsylvania TV station accidentally ran a test? Yes, I saw that. The test election, and they had the exact vote counts showing Harris was up. No, I think that was just honestly a test. I know people will be like, "Oh, you're gullible" and stuff like that. What are they gonna have the exact vote counts? I mean, come on. Also, how the hell would you make a mistake like that? I mean, listen, they have to test their graphics, but I understand if people are weary of it. Red Dead Redemption. I never played that. I've seen gameplay. It looks like a sweet game. DC goes red. The ultimate prediction. Yes. Biden is running again in 2028. Yeah, he's running for a nursing home. He's running to a nursing home in 2028. Yeah, morning compost is terrible. It is what it is, though. California would go red before DC. Oh yeah. Well, technically, honestly, because DC has such a small population, but no, I know what you're saying because DC's margin is ridiculous. One good reason to vote Kamala for me. I don't have a good reason. Maybe other people do. It's different perspectives, but it's just like Kamala's no different than a Walz or really any other Democrat. I think Kamala's a bad candidate, but it's just they're all the same, man. But Biden was better. Yes, Biden was better. They're stuck with Harris though. Bannon seems very confident the Dems are going to absolutely contest the election immediately. Well, they can go ahead and do that. It's going to make them look bad, but they can go ahead and contest it. They'll probably try and bring something against Elon or something. Can you explain why Biden is better electorally? Oh, just Rust Belt, way more appeal in the Rust Belt. Also, I mean, he was the VP to Obama, who was seen as, at least for the Democrats, the Democrats viewed Obama as a successful president. So he was, but no, I agree with how old Biden was. He was a hindrance. But in like 2020, Biden would have been a better candidate than Harris. I mean, that's why Harris was nothing in 2020. Opinion on the poly market change. I'm guessing CNN updated polls, and it's just a correction, but I think it's mainly CNN updated polls. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you in terms of +2, -2 polls. It's very close, but it depends if you get like a number of, if you get like 3 or 4 straight polls that are +2, then it is a trend. Is Trump currently on the path to victory? Yeah, he's Trump is still looking good. Yes, Harris +6. Yeah, it is what it is, man. Pennsylvania early vote looking scary. No, Pennsylvania early vote is pretty much exactly where we thought. Well, I think it's slightly better for conservatives, but it's the early. Listen, it's going to come down to election day turnout in Pennsylvania. The early vote is their firewall is down. Basically, it's been slashed 2/3 to, it was at 1.1 million. Now it's 390,000. So I would say it's been slashed pretty heavily. But again, it's like, how do you really scale that in terms of predicting on election day? It just comes down to turnout on election day. I think the early voting, it just people pay way too much attention to the early voting, but it does matter more now. I mean, you don't want to get destroyed in the early vote, which if you compare it to 2020, Trump's done a lot better, but it was expected. Well, the Hinchcliffe joke did nothing at this point because they can't really say anything because of what Biden said. Biden screwed them, but it was already crap. According to Real Clear Politics, North Carolina is red. Well, no, I think Trump's going to take North Carolina absolutely. Will Trump prosecute Shapiro once he's elected? I highly doubt it, man. What about what's going on in Pennsylvania right now? The crooked cop can be a whistleblower because he caught closing the lines too early. Thoughts? I highly doubt it. Well, didn't they sued them and won? So I don't think so. Are you talking about the Bucks County thing? You missed the 200 mark. Yeah, that was a nice moment. But now I'm actually at 300. I went up pretty significantly within the last hour because when you show it, people tend to subscribe more when you show it. It's a weird thing. That's why people always say subscribe, but it really doesn't. It's whatever. But I hit it around like really right at the start of the stream, dude. I had this like 9,000 subscriber day. That was when I got two huge videos. I remember that. Thoughts on YouTube turning pink? Well, I think YouTube is changing their logo. Is that what you're talking about? YouTube changing their logo a little bit to lighter red? I don't know if you're trolling, but they actually are doing that because they want to be more approachable. You remember when Iowa, Ohio, Florida were swing states? Yeah, Ohio and well, they actually did treat Ohio as a swing state in 2020 because of where the polls were. I mean, obviously Trump won it by 8 points, but technically Ohio was a swing state in 2020, and Florida was a swing state in 2020 as well. Iowa was more of a swing state in like 2016. They thought that Hillary possibly could have won it, but I just realized that Iowa was more close in 2020 than it was in 2016. Well, dude, those Real Clear Politics numbers that have Harris winning Wisconsin and Michigan, that's just from really recent polls. And it's by like 0.2%. You're basically 50-50. In general, live streams, pre-recorded. I mean, listen, it depends on the views, honestly. But I mean, it depends on the views. But normally, my pre-recorded vids were always making more money. Well, YouTube's not turning it pink, but it's just light or red to try and not be as, I guess, intimidating. Penn State or Ohio State? I'll take Ohio State. Listen, they need to really figure out their offensive line though. They do. They've got a huge left tackle problem. Some guy named Kingfisher is dropped like 300K on Harris on Poly. Yeah, so there'll be a little shift. Can you give an electoral vote prediction? I'd still say Trump 312 right now. Red alert, I'm not kidding. Trump in Atlanta tonight. Active shooters in Atlanta, very, very bad. You gotta be trolling, man. Is Trump in Atlanta today? I don't even know where Trump is. God, where was Trump today? Where did Trump do that rally? He's in Wisconsin. No, no, no. You're right. With Brett Favre in Green Bay. You're right. 200K. Thank you. Trump is everywhere. Yeah, there is. I mean, Jesus, man. It's gonna be like 3 rallies a day, I think, with Trump. Where's Harris? Dude, I never know where Harris is. Trump is on a plane to New Mexico right now. Yeah, you're right, because he's got that rally on Halloween tomorrow. Mattress Mac be betting on the election. Yeah, he is a whale. He normally drops millions on the Astros in the World Series. Maybe he'll drop. I'm guessing he's a Trump supporter, but maybe he'll drop something. I don't know. He definitely wants it. He'd want attention for it. That's for sure. Trump in the garbage Trump truck. Yeah, it's a good moment. You're seizing the moment. You're taking advantage. It's a political maneuver. You're taking advantage. Congrats on 200K. Thank you. Do you have a VR headset? No, I don't. You're listening to my stream while playing Minecraft with the girlfriend. Am I winning or what? You're playing Minecraft. That's nice. While listening to my stream. Yeah, yeah. I used to play zombies and listen to shit. Do you think the Tony joke hurt Trump? No. It's actually impossible for it to hurt him at this point with what Biden said about Trump supporters, which is 10 times worse. Was the garbage truck thing a play at Biden calling his peeps garbage? Yeah, it's exactly what it was. Harris is a terrible campaign manager. Well, I just think that she's just not. She's not presidential material, and she didn't win a primary. It's just like it's all just thrown together. Balloons tower defense. Maybe when I was 5 years old. Maybe when I was 4 years old. I don't know. Lions versus Packers. The Lions. I think. I think the Lions will win that game. Biden with the babies. Yeah, I gotta take. I'm gonna guys. I'm gonna get off. I gotta take a piss. I'll be honest. But listen, a lot of people have asked me about the poly market thing. The reason that poly market dropped was because Trump crashed a garbage truck into a fire hydrant. No, I'm kidding. The reason it dropped was because of a CNN, really mainly a CNN poll update where they had Harris up by a lot in Wisconsin and Michigan. They're outlier polls. As long as Trump wins Pennsylvania, it's fine. This is a correction. It's expected. Trump Rogan podcast has 41 million views. That's not surprising. It'll get to 50, I'm sure. Yeah, Trump's stock will go up if he wins. It's just his stock is just a bet on if he wins or not. And apparently it tanked today, which is kind of funny. Play political machine. Yeah, I'm gonna do a video. Maybe I'll do a video doing that tomorrow. I really got to do a video playing the political machine. You know, the political machine disappointed me. They've got Kamala Harris as like a god candidate with all of her attributes being really good. It's disappointing. It's sad to see. But congrats on 200K. I appreciate it. Yes, I hit 200K. I was at like I gained I think 400 or something subscribers because I had this up and people were trolling me a little bit, but that's expected with YouTube. It's almost a tradition. But guys, that's gonna do it for this.